Now we understand how anti-dumping, countervailing, and safeguard measure works. Let's connect this trade remedy measure to free trade agreements and see how they interact.
Trade agreement is a deal between countries to reduce or remove trade barriers like tariffs and quotas. It makes goods flow more easily, lower prices for consumers, and open markets for businesses. FTAs strengthen international trade and cooperation while boosting economic growth. The WTO oversees global trade rules and ensure fair competition among nations. Bilateral agreements are trade deals between two countries to reduce barriers. Multilateral agreements involve several countries working together to open markets. WTO, bilateral, and multilateral efforts all shape today's global trade system. Free trade agreements not only open markets but also include rules to protect fairness in global trade. Through FTAs, countries agreed on clear producer to fight dumping, preventing goods sold below cost from harming local industries. FTAs allow safeguard when sudden import surges threatens industries, giving countries tools to respond fairly and temporarily. FTAs includes rules on subsidies, helping governments apply countervailing duties when import benefit from unfair foreign support. By combining open trade with defense tools, FTA creates fairer, more stable global markets. Single you own, your phone, your favorite t-shirt, even the banana you had for breakfast, chances are it crossed a border to get to you. But how do countries keep track all of this stuff? They use a special system called the Harmonized System or HS. It's like a giant library catalog for every product imaginable, and the key to using this catalog correctly is a set of guidelines called the General Interpretative Rules or GIR. These rules are the secret decoding ring that helps everyone from customs officer to business owners speak the same language about products. The classification right is a really big deal. It determines how much tax or tariffs you have to pay when you import something. A mistake can mean paying too much money or paying too little, which can lead to big fines and your goods stuck at the port for a very long time. Think of the GIR as the official instruction manual for the global shopping spree. Following these 6 simple rules ensures that trade flows smoothly, fairly, and ensure without any expensive surprises. It's a system built on precision, designed to be followed in every specific order from Rule 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So let's dive in and unlock these codes together. This journey might sound a little technical, but I promise it's more like solving puzzle than your taxes. Let's begin with the big boss, the most important rule of them all, General Interpretative Rule 1. This is your starting point, your North Star. It says quite simple that the classification of a product is determined by words used in the heading and any related section or chapter notes. You can't just classify something based on what it looks like or what you think it is. You have to read the text of the law. Here's real example. Imagine you are importing a live horse for a race. You might look through the tariff book and see a chapter for animals. That seems logical, right? Rule 1 tells you to look the specific heading text. You'd find heading 0, which explicitly says live horses, asses, mules, hennies, because your product is a live horse and the text of the heading describes it perfectly. You find your match. According to Rule 1, this is where your classification journey for the horse ends its direct hit. Happens if your product isn't quite finished. That's where Rule 2A comes in. This rule expands the definition of a product to include things that are incomplete or unfinished, as long as they have the essential character of the finished product. It also covers finished products that are unassembled or disassembled, maybe to make them easier to ship. Think of it as the some assembly required rule. For instance, let's say you are importing a brand new bicycle but it's a pack in a box. The pedals aren't attached and the handbars are turned sideways. Is it a bicycle or it is a box or bicycle parts? Rule 2A says that because the collection of parts has the essential character of a complete bicycle, you must classify it as one. You would use the code for finished bicycles such as heading 87.12 for bicycles in other cycles, including delivery tricycles not motorized. Rule 2b covers mixtures, composite goods, and combination of different materials. If a product is a mixture or made of different materials, classify it according to the materials or component giving it as essential character. Example, leather wallet with metal clasp gets classified under leather goods because leather gives it essential characters. This rule is incredibly practical as so many large items are shipped in a disassembled state to save space and prevent damage during transit. Rule 1 and 2 handle the majority of classification cases, but sometimes products fit into multiple categories equally well or present more complex challenges. That's where the tiebreaker rules comes into play. Sometimes a product is a mix of different materials or seems to fit into two or more headings equally well. This is where Rule 3, the ultimate tiebreaker, comes to the rescue. It's broken into three smaller parts, A, B, C, that you must follow in order. Rule 3A is the rule of specificity. It says that you should always choose the heading that provides the most specific or precise description of the item. It's like choosing an apple instead of fruit. Be as specific as possible. Let's imagine you are importing a car seats made specifically for a vehicle. You might find a general heading for seats under heading 94.01. However, you would also find a more specific heading for parts and accessories of motor vehicle under the heading 87.08. Rule 3A tells you to choose the more specific description. Since the seat is explicitly designed for a car, heading 87.08 is the better fit. But what if two headings are equally specific? Then, we move to Rule 3B, Essential Character Test. This rule is a mixture, composite goods, or sets for the retail sale. You must classify the entire product based on the material or component that gives it essential character. What makes the product what it is? Is it the expensive part? Is it the heaviest part? Or it is the part that performs the main function? For example, a gift set containing a bottle of wine and two glasses would be classified under the wine. Is that what gives the set its primary identity and value? Let's apply this to another example. A fancy cheese board set sold for a party. This set includes a wooden board, a small steel cheese knife, and a ceramic bowl for olives. Here you have wood from chapter 44, steel from chapter 73, and ceramic from chapter 69. Which one do you choose? Rule 3B asks you to consider the essential character. A customer is buying this set primarily for the purpose of serving cheese, making the wooden board the central component. The knife and bowl are accessories. Therefore, you would classify the entire set as wooden kitchen under heading like 44.19. Rule 3C is the final tiebreaker. If rules 3A and B don't resolve the classification, choose the heading that appear last in numerical order among the competing heading. For instance, if you're choosing between heading 85.16 and 94.01, you would select 94.01 as it comes last numerically. These rules is rarely needed, but it ensures that every product has exactly one correct classification, maintaining the system precision and consistency. Rule 3-step process ensures that even the most complex product can be classified systematically and consistently worldwide. But what happens when you encounter something truly innovative a product so new that the HS creator never imagined it. That's where we need the rule's last resort. Welcome to Rule 4, the rule of last resort for truly weird, innovative products the HS creators couldn't imagine. Imagine a brand new invention, a self-heating coffee mug with a tiny built-in solar panel. No specific heading exists for that. Use Rule 4 to decide what's most like it. It is primary function being a mug, or it is heating element the key feature. It might be akin to electric domestic appliances, maybe a heading like 85.16 electric water heaters. Finally, Rule 5 about packaging. Rule 5 has two parts. Rule 5A cover cases and containers specifically shaped for a particular article, suitable for long-term use and sold with the article. Think violin case sold with a violin camera case sold with a camera. Rule 5B covers general packaging materials and containers, cardboard, boxes, plastic wrap, other disposable packaging used for shipping and sealing. Import 1,000 t-shirts in 10 boxes. Don't classify the boxes separately. Classify the t-shirt under 61.09 t-shirt, singlets, other vest. The packaging is the part of the deal. We've made it to the last rule. Rule 6, this one is the most of the technical instruction more than the classification principle. Ever feel like navigating trade rules is like solving a complex puzzle? Let's decode one of the key pieces, General Interpretative Rule 6 or GIR 6. Imagine you're classifying a smartphone. First, you'd find its main category, or heading, let's say, telephones for cellular networks. But wait, there are subcategories, or subheadings. It is a smartphone or just a telephone. GIR 6 is your guide here. It tells us to compare apples to apples. You can only compare subheadings at the same level. Think of it like a family tree. You compare siblings with siblings, not a child with their great-grandparent. So you look at the 1 dash subheading first, then the 2 dash, and so on, applying all the other tariff features as you go deeper. This ensures every product finds its precise, correct spot in the global trade system. It's all about a fair and logical comparison. GIR 6 means smooth, more accurate classification.